Hey Sai Ram, fellow viewers. Welcome back to ByteFusion. My name is Darshan, and today we're going to start a new lesson. We're going to talk about selections in Java. Right, so I actually made an error in my last video. I said that there are 108 chakra points. I don't know what I was thinking, but there are actually 114. So just a friendly reminder, I want you to give 11,400% of your ability to this lesson. And yeah, so that's basically what I want you guys to do. And I know that it can be challenging to sort of keep track and concentrate, but try as best as possible to keep your mind focused on what we're doing. I'm of course gonna make it easy for you to be able to learn everything. I'm gonna try to give you as much detail as possible, but I also want to give you it in simple amounts of information so that you can understand it. Let's begin our second lesson. Okay, so as you can see, I have Java open, and I have my main method here. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about in this lesson is conditional statements. So conditional statements are known as if-else or else-if statements in Java. So how do these statements work exactly? I'm going to show you that. Okay, so as you can see, I've actually typed out this conditional statement, and what's in this conditional statement? We have this. These brackets are open here, and inside these brackets we have a condition, and the condition is basically saying check if the number variable is equal to the value that's on the right, which is the value 4. So in other words, we're trying to check if they're equal, and we're saying if they're both equal, then print out the line the values are equal. So if we try to run this, you'll see it prints out the values are equal. So what will happen now if we change this value to, like, say 7, right? And we try to compare those two different values. As you can see, nothing is printing out to the console. So this is where an else statement becomes actually very handy in Java. An else statement allows you to check for anything that's not actually checked in the other statements above, and the other conditional statements above. So in order to do an else statement, we type else, we open up. Okay, so now if we try to run this, you'll see that it prints the values are not equal. So that's how we know that our if and else statement is working. Now you can actually go further than this, and you can do if, else if, and else statements. I'm going to show you how that works. Okay guys, so as you can see, I've actually typed out these statements over here, and what's actually happening here is that we have a scanner, and we're basically asking the user to input an amount. So it says here, welcome to our fun shop. You may purchase a board game for 400, a teddy bear for 300, or packets of sweets for any amount. So I've basically created the statement, and I'm saying here in the first condition, if the cash is equal to 400, then the statement will print out, you can purchase a board game, a teddy bear, or packets of sweets. And it says here, else if, which is the next statement, else if cash is equal to 300, you can purchase a teddy bear or packets of sweets. And then lastly, it's telling you if you don't have that amount, then you can purchase packets of sweets. So let's see how this runs. Okay, so it's asking you to enter an amount. So I'm going to enter 400, and then it says here you can purchase a board game, a teddy bear, or packets of sweets. Let's run it again. I'll now enter another amount, say 200. It says you can purchase packets of sweets. Okay, cool. So you'll notice now that when I did this print system.println, system.out.println, I haven't exactly gone and printed out another statement below that to fill this part here, comma, a teddy bear for 300, right? What I've done actually is I've used this special function, which is a \n, and basically what that does is it allows you to go on to the next line of the text that you're trying to print out. So that's actually something useful that you might want to consider. Okay. Right. So guys, that's basically how an if, else if, and else statement works. To take this further, we will talk about relational operators in Java. So what are relational operators? Relational operators are the different operators that you can use in a condition to meet specific conditions. Right. So what are the different operators you can use? I'm going to show you that now. So one operator that I've already showed you that's a relational operator is the equivalence operator. You can also have greater than equal to, you can have less than equal to, you can have less than, you can have greater than, and then you can have not equal to. Okay, so these are the different relational operators that you can use. Okay, everyone, so as you can see, I've typed out this statement. I've basically altered what I originally had, and I've said here, now if cash is greater than equal to 400, you can purchase a board game, a teddy bear, or packets of sweets. And I've said if cash is greater than equal to 200, you can purchase a teddy bear or packets of sweets. Right, so if I try to enter a value, say if I enter like 300, it says you can purchase a teddy bear or packets of sweets. Now this is different when we compare it to just using the equals relational operator, because this is actually checking if our cash is greater than equal to 200, right? So it's checking if it's equal to 200 or if it's greater than 200. Now I want to talk about something that you should know when it comes to conditional statements, and that's the order of the statements. Guys, it's very important that you realize that the order of the statements matter. For instance, I'm going to show you. Okay, now you'll see I've actually changed the order of the statements. Now if I run this, now say that I want to tell the employee that I have about 500 Rand, right? And that's enough, right, to purchase a board game. So now if I type 500 here, you'll notice that it says you can purchase a teddy bear or packets of sweets, but it doesn't say you can purchase a board game, a teddy bear, or packets of sweets. And that's because the order of our operations has said, hey, the cash is already greater than or equal to 200. Therefore, this statement over here is going to execute. And what's going to happen is that the rest of these statements are not going to execute. So that's why in Java, it's very important that the order of your conditions, you keep in mind that you must work according to the order of your operations, right? Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is nested if statements. I'll get to that right now. Okay, everyone, so I've actually managed to type out this program here. So basically, this is an alternation of what we previously did. What's happening here is that we have the same statement, welcome to our shop, blah, blah, blah. It says enter your amount, you enter your amount, and then it's asking you to actually enter a true or false value. And this is going to determine whether you are a fund member or not. So if your cash is greater than or equal to 400 and you are a fund member, then you will get a 10% discount in this range, right? But if it's greater than or equal to 200, you will get a 20% discount. And if you have less than 200, then you will get a 30% discount. Okay, so let's see how this works. Right. So say for instance, I have about 150, right? That's less than 200. So I got 150 and I'm saying true as I am a fund member. Then it says here, you can purchase packets of sweets. Since you are a fund member but have less than 200 in cash, you will get a 30% discount on your purchases, right? So now let's try another value. Okay, let's say we enter the number 500, right? And we say yes, true, we are a fund member. It says here, you can purchase a board game, a teddy bear, or packets of sweets. Since you are a fund member and have more than 399 in cash, you will get a 10% discount on your purchases. Okay, so this is basically a simple example of how to use a nested if and else statements. So you can nest statements within other conditional statements. Okay, so something I want to mention that you might find a bit useful is how to use exponential powers. So for instance, we have 1e to the power of -2. So what is it saying? 1e is basically 1 times 10, and then we're saying to the power of -2. And if we actually run this, we should get 0.01. So I think the e over here is a representation of, I'm not really sure what it's representing, but it might be Euler's method or something. But basically, that's one way you can actually use. It's not called a literal. I actually made a mistake in the last lesson. I spoke about f being a literal. It's not really a literal. It's just an indicator. Okay, so that's something I thought you might find useful. So I'm actually going to take this out now. Okay, everyone, so I've actually typed out these statements over here, and basically what am I doing is I'm trying to check if the value 0 is not neutral or if it is neutral. How am I doing that? I'm using the not equals operator. So if I try to run this now, you'll see it says our value is neutral. That's because 0 is a neutral value, right? So if we try to change this, say to like 4, then it'll say our value is not neutral, right? And I want to actually show you exactly how we can do this not equals without having to put not equals right there. So say we have values equal to 0, then what we can do is we can go out of this, we can say not, right? And then we can actually enclose this inside brackets, and we're basically saying if not this entire condition, then we want to print out our values are neutral. So if we try to run this, you can see it says our value is neutral. Okay, and if I try to say 7, for instance, it'll say our value is not neutral. So that's basically how that other relational operator can work. So I've actually managed to type out these statements here, and basically I want to show you how a logical operator works in Java. So there's actually 3 types of logical operators. You have an AND operator, you have a OR operator, and you have an exclusive OR. So if you know how the truth table works, then basically it's sort of the same concept as that. Okay, so what does it mean? Basically, if 2 values, say for instance we have true and true, then we know that the value will be true. If we have true and false, or false and true, or false and false, then the value is false. In the case of OR, if we have just one of the values as true, then it's true, otherwise it's false. And exclusive OR, what it means basically is exclusive OR, which is this last one, is basically saying that if we have one value and another value, but they're both different, then we have it as true, otherwise it's false. So I'm going to demonstrate how this works. So I've said here int height is equal to 10, and I've said if the height is greater than equal to 10, or if the height is less than equal to 20, then our specimen is average in size. If our height is less than 10 or our height is greater than 20, then our specimen is not average in size. So now if I run this, you'll see it says our specimen is average in size because the height is equal to 10. And you can see that I just wanted to demonstrate how exclusive OR works. I couldn't really think of an example for it, but then I wrote down these statements. So you can see true and true is false, true and false is true, false and true is true, and false is false. Right, so then that's basically how an exclusive OR works. Now let's try to change the value of height. Let's say we want it to be 5. If we run this, we get our specimen is not average in size. Let's change it one more time to see if this is working. 25. Okay, our specimen is not average in size. So that's basically how you can use logical operations in conditions. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is called a switch statement in Java. So how does a switch statement work? Well, a switch statement is pretty similar to an if statement. It's an alternative to an if statement. In a switch statement, we have a value that you check. It's like an argument. And then you check that argument by going through different cases of that value. We want to check different. If we want to check if the value is equal to something different, we like compare them. And then at the end, we have a default. And I'll explain how all of that works. So what I've typed here is I've typed out int month is equal to 4. So we know that because it's 4, it should be April, right? That's the month that it should print out. So if we run this, you'll see that it's actually printing out all of the months. It's printing out April plus all of the months that come after it. Now, there's a problem with that. We only wanted to show April, right? So how do we create this switch statement in such a way that it doesn't just go onto one month and then execute every other condition? Well, there's actually a keyword, and that keyword is called break. I'm gonna put it now. Okay, so as you can see, I've added in break, which is the function that actually breaks the loop. So if I try to run this now, say I put 2, for instance, which is February, and if I try to run this, you'll see it prints February, and then it doesn't go on and imprint the next statements that come after that. Now, what if the user, for instance, doesn't put a number that's within the range of a month? Like say they input the value 15, right? Then we want to check for that value. So that's why we have this default statement over here. And that's basically saying, hey, if this value is not a valid value, then I'm going to output I'm going to output the sentence invalid month. Okay, so if I run this, you'll see it says invalid month. Okay, cool. So let's try it one more time to see if it's actually working. Let's try 10. We know that 10 will be October. So then we have October. Okay, cool. Okay, so another thing I want to talk about is conditional operators in Java. So you know how I've been talking about conditional statements, if and else statements. Now the next thing I actually want to talk about is a conditional operator. So for instance, say you want to say if x is greater than 0, y is equal to 1, right? Else y is equal to -1, right? Well, we know that this is a very simple statement, right? It's not really an advanced statement. So there's actually a way to shorten that, and that's called conditional operators. And this is how it works. We don't have to use this entire conditional statement. Instead, we could just say int y is equal to x greater than 0, and we use this question mark, and then we have 1, and then this colon, and then -1. Okay, if we run this, we should get -1. See, we have -1. So that's how conditional operators work in Java. Okay, so to end off this lesson, I want to talk about operator precedence and associativity. So associativity is basically when you enclose a statement, in brackets. When I'm talking about a statement here, I'm not talking about a statement like a line like this. I'm talking about like an expression or something like a calculation. You want to enclose it in brackets. So for instance, over here I have 4 plus 3 and I'm enclosing it in brackets. That's associativity. And operator precedence, I've discussed it in the first lesson, but now I've actually talked about logical operators, I've talked about relational operators, and I've spoken about arithmetic operations. So how do you actually do precedence with all of that? Well, I've actually drawn out this chart over here. It's called operator precedence chart, and it actually shows you the precedence going from top to bottom. So what it basically means is that this will execute first, and then whatever's at the bottom will execute last. So how it will work is we go from top to bottom and left to right, right? So top to bottom, left to right. So as you can see, we first have the postfix, and then we have unary plus and minus and prefix. Then we have typecasting. We have the not. We have multiplication, division, remainder, binary addition and subtraction, relational, equality, exclusive or and or assignment operators. If this becomes a bit difficult for you to understand, then what you should know is that it actually works in this order. First we have arithmetic, then we have relational, and then we have logical. So let's see how we can actually apply this chart to what we currently have. Okay, so over here we have 3 plus 4 times 4 greater than 5. So if we go to this chart, we'll see that arithmetic comes first, right? So we know from arithmetic that multiplication comes first and then division. So but since there's associativity in this, we know 4 plus 3 will come first. Therefore, we have 7 over here. So we got 4 plus 3 is equal to 7. Then we have 4 times 4, which is 16. Then we have basically 5. We have 5 times 7, which gives us 35. And we've got 16. We've also got 3 plus 16, which should be about 19. So 19 is greater than, what is it saying? So 4 plus 3 is 7. Then we got 5 times 7, 35. So we're saying that 19 is greater than 35. Is that true? Is 19 greater than 35? Sorry. We have to do minus 1 here. So we've got 35 minus 1, which is 34. Is 19 greater than 34? And that is false, right? 19 cannot be greater than 34. So therefore, this entire part here will equate to false. So we're saying false and some value. So 4 minus 3 is going to give us 1. 1 is greater than 5 is false. So we're saying false, and we know the answer is false. Therefore, if we try to execute this command, we'll see that we get false as our answer. So that's basically how you can work with operator precedence in Java. Okay, everybody, so that brings us to the end of the lesson. I'm glad that you stuck around this long. If you have, congratulations. And just know that I'm going to be producing more videos. In my next video, I'm going to talk about debugging in Eclipse. I know this is something that's important as a programmer, is that you need to know how to debug your code and how to exactly handle errors and stuff like that. So I will show you how to debug your code and how to look at specific sections of your code. So you can expect that in the next lesson. And of course, I just want you guys to be enthusiastic about what you do. Work hard and, memorize your stuff. And I'll see all of you in the next lesson. Okay, cool. So enjoy the rest of your day. Jai Sai Ram.